Welcome, welcome. This is the Revolution of Love. If you haven't been here in a while, and I do see some returning faces, some folks that haven't been here in a minute, grateful to have you back. And if you've been here every Sunday, then hey, we're here again. So let's do this. Let's get into it. I'm going to light the candle on this end. Please, again, feel free to light one on your end. And this is really to signify, my friends, that we are not in a Zoom meeting, but that this is a sacred time. And so we are intentionally bringing ourselves into this time. So wherever you are seated, reflect upon that and take that pause if you would. And I will pray in the way that I pray, recognizing that some of you that may sound or look very, very different. This is a multi-path space, a multi-path ministry at the Revolution of Love. So all is accepted here and welcomed here in that regard. And if it is comfortable for you to close your eyes, you may do so, or you can just sort of position them at a 45-degree angle if that feels better. And we will take 3 deep breaths in together, breathing in through the nostrils now, breathing in. And then an exhale. Completely releasing the day away and arriving to this time in this space. A second breath in, breathing in. And then exhaling out of the mouth. And then on this third breath, if you would like to make a sound on the exhale, you can, because no one will hear you. We're on mute. So breathing in through the nose. And then a nice exhale out of the mouth. Holy One, great mystery, I give thanks for this time tonight that we can be here together, even on the Zoom, that we are connecting, recognizing in this moment that we are connecting around the country, that we are holding hearts and holding minds, and maybe even giving virtual hugs to one another in a way that feels good, in a way that is right and holy. And so with so much happening in this world right now, Holy One, I ask for your spirit to descend upon this time, to descend upon our bodies in a way that creates healing and that creates uplift. I ask that you be with one another here, with each other here tonight. And that there is a love that flows in, a love that knows no bounds. This is so needed right now, God. There is so much heartache, heartbreak. There's so much pain. There is so much isolation. There is a lot of aloneness. Yes, there is also the beauty and the joy and the harmony and the peace as well. But right now, tonight, feeling and recognizing that there is a lot. And so in that a lot, we do come before you in a spirit of community, in a spirit of fellowship. And we recognize the power from that place of recognition. We recognize this awareness that we get to be here. And so again, the love that knows no bounds, may it flow in, and may we accept it. May we accept this gift. Prayers for folks that are hurting, communities that have been under threat and attack for far too long. Prayers that that there be safety, and that we as a people with some awareness can continue to be bright-minded and give our best selves to do this work in the world and to create change. Let us take care of ourselves this night, in this next hour, and see what is within us in our inner landscape. I lift this prayer up and I say, and so it is. Amen, amen, Ashe. Aho. Aho. And so now we will have the acknowledgements read by Taylor X. Taylor X, please. Taylor X, if you would come off mute, that would be great.
I just finished the land acknowledgement. No, my name's Taylor X. My pronouns are he, him, and his. At this time, we'd like to take a moment to reflect on the lands on which we reside. We are coming from many places, and we acknowledge the ancestral homelands and traditional territories of indigenous people who have been here since time immemorial, and to recognize that they are still here fighting for human rights, for lands and their culture. It is important to not only honor the legacy and lives of the original caretakers of this land, but to continue to build our solidarity with Native peoples across the Americas and across the globe. I am in North Hollywood, and I acknowledge and honor the land of the Chumash, the Tongva, the Frenadeno, and the Tadavia. Please take a moment to acknowledge the indigenous people of the lands where you located into the chat. And we'd also like to honor the many paths and beliefs represented here. We honor all religions, philosophies, ideologies, belief systems, healing modalities, and spiritual perspectives. We honor the life experience and wisdom you have brought here today. We respect you and welcome you into this brave space. We emphatically state that disrespect, prejudice, discrimination of any kind has no place here. We empower one another through respect and strength to be true revolutionaries of love and justice. We see you, we hear you, we love you. If you have a path, faith, tradition, belief system, share it in the chat so we can get to know you better. And I'd like to thank everyone. And one thing at Roll, we want everyone here and on Facebook to know, and I mean really know this, down to the marrow in your bones, that you are somebody, you are important, you are a big deal, and you matter. We see you, we hear you, we love you. And I'd like to thank everybody for sharing the memes for the service. We are growing with lovely people from all across the country and some even around the globe. Again, feel free to copy the memes and share them at will. Okay, thanks to you, Rev.
Thank you so much, Taylor X. What are we going to do, everybody?
Share them at will.
There it is. Thank you. It would not be a service, a Sunday night Zoom service, without hearing Taylor X do that, right? Right, everybody? Yeah, I just, for me, that's it. It's the prayer, it's the music, and it's that. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. Okay, so who would like to read our mission statement? And thank you again, Taylor X. If someone would come off mute and please read this mission statement.
I've got
Gladly.
it. Sorry.
We'll do one and one. So choose whoever. I hear two voices, so someone just jump on in.
This
I'll
one's
grab.
big.
Do you want to do it?
This one's big for me to read, so I would appreciate doing this one.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. I'm Evie. She, her, hers are my pronouns. And this is the Revolution of Love, Ministry, and Movement mission statement: to create courageous, multi-path communities through healing services, educational offerings, and the study and practice of abolition for dynamic inner and outer transformation.
Yes, Evie, I love it. Thank you. And then was that Melanie that I heard? Who did I hear?
Yes, of course. It was
Melanie.
absolutely me.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will gladly read the vision statement. This is the Revolution of Love, Ministry, and Movement vision statement. To bring our vision statement reads like this: to bring hope inspiration, education, and action to every change agent in the world. If you are breathing, you are a change agent.
I love it. Thank you so much to Evie and to Melanie. And I'm going to stop the share right now. Oh, goodness. This is where I lose everybody. Hold on one second, y'all. I did this the other night. Some of you were at the workshop and that happened. Okay, you're back. Okay. So thank you, Evie. Thank you, Melanie. We read these things every single service, so we are all on the same page of what we are doing here. That's why we do that. And it's important so that we, again, we're intentional. All right. Okay, so my name is Reverend Felicia Parazaider. I'm the founder of the Revolution of Love Ministry and Movement. We're a multi-path ministry, and we're a movement that focuses on nonviolence and transformative justice and abolition. We've been doing, educating ourselves around that, and also creating those things in a variety of ways for about the last decade. So you all are part of that. Even if this is your first time coming here, guess what? If you're breathing, you're a change agent, and that means change in all ways, always. So if it's your personal life that needs tending to right now, okay. So now is the time, and this is the place for you to look at your inner landscape. Or if you're in a place where you're looking outwards and around, and you're seeing all of these different examples of violence and oppression and white supremacy culture, and you're ready to get down. And as Rob and Taylor X and I were saying at the pray up today, we're gonna keep on swinging. We're gonna go down swinging, because we have to, my friends. There is too much that's happening. So however this finds you tonight, you're in the right place. At least that's my prayer, is that this feels welcoming to you, that this feels like a brave space, and that you can bring your whole selves here. So all identities are welcome. That means your racial identity, that means your sexual orientation, that means your age, that means your gender or your gender expansiveness, your status, your ability, everything. However you look, however you love, all of it. So we give thanks for it. Now there is a caveat. And Rob, would you say that caveat for us, if you would, please?
Sure. If you align with any form of prejudice, oppression, or violence, this is not the place for you. I might have left out another ism or two, but all the isms, racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, all those have no place here.
That's right. That's right, Rob. Thank you for elucidating that. And recognizing that we're all learning, we are all growing, we're all raising our awareness as quickly as we can. That's at least the commitment here. So things aren't going to be perfect. We make mistakes. I make mistakes. There's so many times I think, how did I think that way? Or, oh my goodness, what did I just say? It's the commitment to continuing to be brave and dismantling this stuff in ourselves and then in the world. Amen? Amen. So tonight, it's okay to say if you're not okay. That is the theme. It's okay to say if you're not okay. We're giving you permission right now, tonight, to bring, again, your whole self here. And however that looks, that is the theme. We've got Dr. Robert Gross as our featured artist. Welcome back, Rob. And what else did I want to say before we actually move to Rob? I guess that's all that I'll say right now. Just to continue to keep with this commitment, my friends, and being painstakingly aware of where we are at. Let's find ways to increase our spiritual containers, and so that way we can do that. Okay. Okay, let's have a good time. I'm going to tell you some more about Dr. Robert Gross right now. Robert Gross holds a doctorate in music composition from the University of Southern California. His music includes contemporary classical, film scores, musical theater, and straight-ahead pop music. Examples of his compositions can be found at robertgrosscomposer.com. Once again, you can look that up, robertgrosscomposer.com. And Rob, if you want to put that in the chat so people can further connect with your music, please do. He also is a freelance music therapist in the Indianapolis region and lives there with his wife, Rebecca, and daughter, Savanna. And so with that, I'm asking you to give a warm welcome to Rob, please.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rev. So I'm coming with some honest songs tonight, some songs that are honestly about the place I'm in. The first song that I wanted to sing tonight is Alas, about gun violence and my reaction to it. I wrote this following song about gun violence when I saw a sign at a anti-gun violence rally, and the sign simply said, "What if it was your kid?" And that hit me so hard that I had to write a song about it. So I'm going to try to share my screen, share my sound, and do the song. What if it was your kid? What if it was your kid? Hard to imagine, isn't it? What if it was your kid? Can't imagine just a little bit. Mowed down by an AR-15. Mowed down by a gunman sight unseen. Mowed down amidst the screams. What if it was your kid? What if it was your kid, texting from under a desk? Mom and Dad, I love you. What if your kid was next, texting those very last words? Does this ever occur? Does it seem too absurd? What if it was your kid? What if it was your kid? Would you finally spring to action? What if it was your kid? Would that finally arouse some passion? Would that inspire political will? Would that be a promise to fulfill? Would you die on that hill? What if it was your kid? What if it was your kid? Would you finally spring to action? What if it was your kid? Would that finally arouse some passion? Would that inspire political will? Would that be a promise to fulfill? Would you die on that hill? What if it was your kid? That's it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Everybody give some love to Rob, please. Give some thanks and give some gratitude for his expression and his art right now, raising our awareness. That was your word, Rob. Yes, awareness. Yes.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Robert. It's Gus, Gustavo. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so let us take a breath if you all would. I'm just kind of looking around to seeing who is here, who is there. So let us breathe in, my friends, please. And exhaling. It feels very important to be painstakingly honest and clear in times like these. All the time, but especially these days. And in that honesty and that brazenness, to be able to say, I'm not okay. And so this next maybe 20 minutes is a place of permission and a place of calm to say, I'm not all right. I'm not okay. And it's okay. In fact, it's not only okay to say that, my friends, there is a power here when we name that. When we name that which is going on within us, and as Rob just did, naming what is happening around us, be it shootings, be it any form of violence and suffering. By naming it, there is power there. And when we are feeling weak, and when we are feeling the strength that can leave our bodies on a moment's notice, leading us into depression and isolation, coming back to truth of what is, there is power there. There is a power that also ignites love, the love that is in our hearts, that often goes reticent, that goes underground because of the incessant gaslighting that is in the society, in this culture, and even the shit that we say to ourselves or about what is happening. And so every time we say no to that, every time we stop gaslighting, every time we do not dismiss, every time we do not ignore, every time we do not go into a cycle of whatever form of violence, we win. There's power there. There's not only power there, but there is a love that knows no bounds there. This is what we need right now. Yes, I am talking about over 300 mass shootings since January in this country alone. I'm talking about 53 migrant workers abandoned in a trailer in San Antonio, Texas, gone, lives stay taken. I'm talking about Black and brown folks' lives being stolen by the police. I'm talking about war and the ways we legitimize war. I'm talking about capitalism. I'm talking about, as Rob was saying, ableism, all of these different forms of violence. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say, I'm not okay with this. It's okay to also not be okay with the way your life might be going right now, my friends, my loved ones. It's okay if your physical health isn't good, if your emotional health isn't good, if your mental health isn't good, if your spiritual health isn't where it needs to be. It's okay to say, I'm not okay, because there is power there. There is power. Do you feel it? There is power in the naming. Do you get this? Do you feel this? This is not about being histrionic. This is not about going into a pit, into a self-pity party. This is not about being negative. There is a fine line, albeit, and there is a fine balance, yes, to not going into the doldrums, into a negative sinkhole, or swinging the other way and going, all of this is fine. None of this is happening. The violence isn't going on. The shootings don't impact me. or the pandemic hasn't traumatized me, or whatever it is, fill it in, fill the blanks in. The swinging that we do from side to side is exhausting alone. It is a spiritual maturity that we can call upon, that is a balance where we recognize, I'm not okay right now. As well as bringing in the power that is justice and that is love. Yes, I pray for this middle land, this middle road of balance and equilibrium for us right now, that we may begin to move in the world in a healthier, compatible, interdependent way with each other as a family, where we are able to see each other for who we are and to remember each other, that there need not be a separation from one another, and that we are made, yes, in the image of God, or maybe better stated for you, in the image of love. There is a power when we name what is happening behind closed doors, underneath the waterline, behind the curtain, within ourselves. And there is a power by looking around us and saying, this isn't okay, this isn't right, this never was, this isn't how it ought to be. How many times do you hear someone say, well, this is how it's always been? When it comes to maybe their own life, oh, this is my life, I'm miserable. This is how it goes. Or maybe it's about capitalism. Well, this is how the world works. I hear that all the time. So I'm bringing in now both personal examples and then expanding it out to the collective, but all under this umbrella of saying it's okay to say if you are not okay. And in this place of allowance and permission, remembering the power that comes from naming this. Because we all of us have gaslit ourselves to some degree. All of us have. And to be clear and to be sure, there is a certain amount of triage that we need to do to get through this life. And what I mean by that, I hope you all know what triage means. Something they do in hospital settings. So patients that are dire or more at the threshold will be handled first. Those cases, those patients will be handled first. I think there is a certain amount of triage that we do, that maybe you do in your life, in order for you to survive, in order for you to get by. And so for some of you, that may look like, financial concerns. you can't really think past anything beyond getting food on the table, making money. So it becomes harder to think about and maybe even have grief around Uvalde and the shooting that happened. Was that, Rob, what, a month ago? And then some of you, maybe those needs are met. You have food, you have money coming in, and you have maybe a lot of your needs. I'm kind of skipping ahead. You have a lot of your needs met. And so you do, and this is just some generalizations, I realize. So you do look around at the world and you're thinking, there are so many forms of injustice and I am overwhelmed. What do I do about it? Some of you have been doing a lot about it. I can see John Amadon here. He's made a life committed to imagining and working for a world beyond war. That's just one person. I know others here that are doing that as well. Probably everybody here, actually. But taking this pause back, my friends, taking a step back for a moment, because I also know that a lot of people here are dealing with depression and dealing with, as a result, isolation. And then to really get clear on this right now, disconnection. And see, when we disconnect, this is where it gets really scary for us. It's really scary. I want us to take this seriously tonight. Because if we disconnect, first of all, I'm a theist. I believe in some kind of Godhead. I don't always know what it means. I don't need to have it all figured out. But if we, first of all, disconnect from a Godhead or a supreme being or higher self, and then we begin to disconnect from one another, then we disconnect from ourselves. And I don't see how we're going to win this thing, so to speak. I don't see how we're going to be able to change hearts and minds when we're not okay. So tonight, it's okay to say, I'm not all right. I'm not okay. And it's okay in this moment right now, if you're not okay. What's not okay is you throwing in the towel. What's not okay is you flipping into a cycle of violence or addiction or something towards yourself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stating, this is where I'm at, and I'm not sure if I'm all right now. Because the more we continue to triage our lives in ways that are unhealthy and diseased, I'm not sure how we're going to keep going here, friends. And I don't know about you. No, I do know. I do know. I take that back. I believe that everybody here, and I do know most of you personally, you have a vision for this world that includes equity and balance and justice, and where communities are not only safe, but thriving, where scarcity is a thing of the past, and instead prosperity is the ocean that we are swimming in. Yeah, this is This is what we dream of. This is what we envision. So three things from this idea of it's okay if you are not okay. Number one, we often dismiss our reality and the reality happening around. And so that looks like, hold on, I want to make sure I get this right. A statement that says it's not that bad. The statement of it's not that bad often comes in, and this is a voice that dismisses your reality or what is happening in this country and this world. So no more dismissing. Number two, we often ignore what has been happening in our lives or to people in communities that are under threat and attack, or again, in this country or in this world beyond. And that statement looks like a little bit different than saying it's not that bad, that voice of dismissal. This statement looks like this isn't happening. This isn't happening. And so often that is maybe perhaps the unhoused person, someone that is experiencing homelessness, that you just can't deal with it. You don't want to deal with it. It's not happening. It's not happening. Or another voice that says it doesn't concern me. Or maybe it's Black and brown folks being shot by the police yet another time. And so if you look like me, if you are white identified, saying it doesn't concern me, ignoring it. So the ways that we say, the ways that we go into this gaslighting is, number one, we dismiss, and number two, we ignore. And then the third thing is we legitimize. We legitimize the things that are happening in this world. And I don't mean it in a way of validating to be good, to be true. I mean it in a negative way of saying, this is the way it is. So I said that example of capitalism because I hear this all the time. Like, this is the way the world works. What do you want? Or war. There's always going to be war. There's just wars. We have to have war. Or the police. We need the police. Who's going to keep us safe? So this way of legitimizing structures and systems of violence. And again, all pointing this back to, my friends, this umbrella of it's okay to say, I'm not okay, and that this isn't okay. And that the more we continue to dismiss or ignore or legitimize, the more we're going to go into this sinkhole, into this pool, this cesspool of unconsciousness. So what do we do? What do we do? How do we get well? And how do we heal? I said a moment ago, I'm a theist. I believe in some kind of Godhead. I don't need to know what that is. Some of you may have a real definitive thing around faith, and that's great. That's great. You know, at Roll, we welcome it all. But I will say this, that abandoning yourself to something that is greater than you and clinging to it for dear life in times like these, and that could be music. You know, I think of Rob with his music. That could be a community. That could be a God of your own understanding. Clinging to it with dear life is a saving grace right about now. It's a saving grace. Because there are going to be times at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning when we are being rocked, when there are moments of I can't do this anymore. I can't take this anymore. I can't handle another shooting. I can't handle the new, whatever that is, whether it's personally or globally. And where you can come back to is some sense of the holy, or maybe that is a sense of peace and calm that you are receiving from an energy that is love. But cling to it, my friends. Cling to it and take it so seriously and nurture a relationship with that. This provides a cushion for all of us of hope. Second thing, to keep it moving, second thing of what we can do and where we can go from here. So that way we're saying it's okay if we're not okay, but get this. To continue your own spiritual balance. And so that means your maintenance. That means maybe talking to a trusted friend or a mentor or a counselor or a teacher. It means talking to people that get you. It means talking to people that are aware. It means having a spiritual practice. And again, really taking this seriously. So the ways of, let's review, saying, okay, this is where I'm at right now. And maybe in this moment, I am not okay, can be reckoned with coming back to God or coming back to spirit or coming back to love and clinging for dear life in the moments that you need to. And then number two, never forgetting your spiritual maintenance. If that looks like being in community, like maybe Roll. I pray that Roll is that community for you. Prayer and meditation, dance, song, music, creating art. All of those things fall under your spiritual maintenance. But there is a third thing right now that I want to lay on you before we take off. And this third thing is actually probably my most favorite thing. And I think it's one that we really overlook. And so this is yet another antidote. If we are feeling downtrodden and if we are feeling sad about our own lives or this world that we are living in, and that is to remember to knock off the hubris and the arrogance that we know so much. And instead to call in a potent humility. I got to say this again. To knock it down, to knock our own hubris and our arrogance down, and recognizing that we only know so much about this whole life, about this whole thing that we are experiencing. We know like an infinitesimal amount. And you know what is amazing about us being in the void, like this agnostic, unknown place, is that anything can happen, that there is possibility and that there is potentiality here. So that is exciting because we can come back to a place that is beyond thoughts and words, where we don't have all this figured out, that we can't possibly have it all figured out. And I know as humans, we like to have our labels. We like to have our religion, and we like to have our this and our that and and have it all compartmentalized and all figured out. But you know what? How much do we really know? And in this place of the void, of this kind of agnostic, unknown place, we are welcomed back to creation. And we are welcomed back to creating our lives with perhaps God's help, with love's help, in a way that is truly holy. We are welcomed back to creating a world without war. Instead, where peace is flowing like a river. Oh, all of these things, my friends, this void that we can sit in tonight together, this unknown place that scares the shit out of people. Oh, it scares the shit out of people. This is a holy reckoning, because we can get humble and like wide-eyed kids go, oh my God, abolition? Abolition can exist. We can create from this place. Yes, we can, and we must. So it's okay if you're not okay right now. And in fact, it's healthy if you are having a reaction to the violence and the injustice and the dysfunction that is happening in a myriad of ways, maybe in your life, certainly in this country and in the world beyond. So if you are having a reaction, my friends, please take heart and please be welcomed back to love and the power of that love, and be welcomed back into a spiritual practice of your own making, of your own understanding that works for you. And they're welcome back into a place of unknown possibility and transformation. It is this void that we sit in at Roll, actually week after week, every other week. We get to sit here in our own humility, prayerfully our own joy, and looking at the next steps for the 7 generations to come. This is my prayer for you this night and for all of us. And may we receive it in a way that is truly magical and change-making. And so it is. Rob, I'm thinking that we will have just a quick prayer right now, and then we'll go right to you, okay? So everybody, let's just have a prayer. I won't be taking prayer requests. I'm just going to lift up a prayer, and then we will shift to Rob. Let us take a breath, please. Breathing in. And it is in joy that we reside here with one another. Great mystery. And I ask a prayer for each and every person that is here, a blessing upon their heads, their hearts, their minds, their bodies, their spirits, their souls, and also for all their relations. In all their relations, may their families be protected. May their friends be protected and loved, a hedge of protection, all their relations. And also for our communities that we sit alongside of and that we work with, a hedge of protection, a blessing of love, and a blessing of peace. And for those that are struggling from so many different things, from so many addictions, addictive cycles, from so many places of disconnect or divorce or dis-ease, we ask that there be a radical healing and an embrace of truth. An embrace of truth. Allow us, God, to continue to work for the change, not that is going to come, but that we must create. This gonna come thing is not working. The change that we must create. And so may everyone here, may all of us be strengthened and energized. Even if we're not okay, may we take heart. May we come together in love. And remember that we are not alone. No. Wherever two or more are gathered. God, I lift this prayer up with a humble heart and an energized heart and a thankful heart for all of us here. Another service, another cookie in the cookie jar. And I say, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Ashe. And aho. And Rob, please, to you.
Thank you, Rev. This next song is another one of those honest songs that I write, and it's called What Should We Do? Let me share my screen, share my sound, and start it off. Turn on the news and there's another disaster. But what should we do? Turn on the news and my heart starts to beat a little faster. And what should we do? What else is there that I can bring? Learned helplessness is a thing. The latest atrocity really does sting, but what should we do? Social media means just a little more conflict, but what should we do? Extremists have taken over my school district, and what should we do? They want to ban and burn some books. I guess they didn't like the author's looks. I think it's something by bell hooks. And what should we do? Cling to my family for a little more support. But what should we do? A plan to confront becomes a plan to abort. And what should we do? Why is it so hard to live in my head? Is a better world possible instead? Maybe it starts with just getting out of bed. And what should we do? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Yay! There's the fanfare. Thank you so much, Rob. Woo! Okay, everybody. Well, that concludes our service. Let's give thanks for another time together. We will meet in 2 weeks for Art as Resistance. I'm grateful for all of you. If you're not okay, it's okay. Just don't throw in the towel. We're all here for you. Reach out to someone. If there's a smiling face you see, connect with them. Connect with someone